Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another video, and this is a paid request for Joseph, which actually he sent this through CashApp. But whether you want to send it through CashApp or PayPal or whichever, links are down below in the info box. I will get to it as soon as I possibly can. And pretty much these are, it could be any type of request: movie review, re-review, random thoughts, streams, topics, video game playthroughs, whatever the case, and I will get to it as soon as I possibly can. Now, Joseph, well, this is the way he worded it. Certain sequels that should have waited and had better storylines. He says, well, Friday the 13th came out in 1980, and Friday the 13th Part 3 came out in 1982. Maybe they should have waited till like 1990. Halloween franchise, Halloween 2, maybe they should have waited till 1988. I disagree. I get what he means, but I do disagree. At least with those subjects, those movies, I do disagree with. Because I like Halloween 2. That's actually my favorite of the franchise. I actually think the Friday the 13th sequels are better than the first film. That's just me. The first Friday the 13th, I think it's okay. Let me repeat. The first Friday the 13th, I think, is okay. Yes, it kicked off because of the success of it. A lot of studios going, we need our own slasher film. We need our own Friday the 13th. Yes, there was stuff like Halloween and Texas Chainsaw Massacre before it, but a big studio like Paramount really see Friday the 13th, they go, wow, this is how much money you made. It seemed like it was even outgrossing The Shining and other stuff coming out. Okay, we definitely need to look into this. So I can appreciate what it did for the genre. As a film, I just think it's okay. I'm not going to say it's horrible, but I don't love it either. I think Friday the 13th Part 2, I think is better than the first one. I just do. I think Part 4 is better than the first one. I think Part 6 is better than the first one. 3, I go back and forth whether I think that's better the first one or not. Maybe a little bit. I would say yes, just because the Jason, the iconic hockey mask, is, just works better for me. Not that I dislike Pamela Voorhees, but anyway. But better sequels that maybe they should have waited on. I thought that was an interesting topic, though. So I wrote down, and he went to another thing about the Expendables, but I'll do that at the end of the video. Because those are more of what would have been better if those films were made in the 90s, which I'm like, yes. So I'll make that like an added thing at the end of this video. But when this topic came out, the first thought I had was the year 1989. If you know my channel, you know where I'm going with this. If not, well, the thumbnail tells you. 1989 is when you had sequels that were fast-tracked. Now, Friday the 13th Part 8, then it seemed typical because almost every year there was a Friday the 13th film. I mean, I think it was only 86 or 8, no, would have been 87 maybe? I think it was 87. Just Part 7 was 88, and then Part 8 was 89, and I think Part 6 was 86. I think so. So, but I mean, you could say every Friday the 13th film was fast-tracked, in a way. But Friday the 13th Part 8, it's funny because of the first 8 films, it's the most expensive, but yet it's the most disappointing, at least to me. Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan, is my... Yeah, that is my least favorite of the franchise. I like the reboot of Friday the 13th. I don't think it's as bad as people make it out to be. I mean, I honestly don't get the hate for that film, but that's just me. I like Jason X as a fun, dumb, B 5 movie. Jason Goes to Hell is my personal favorite for a variety of reasons. But Friday the 13th Part 8, I think they rushed it. And at first it's like, oh, we're going to do New York and we're doing all these things, Madison Square Garden. The director bit off more than he could chew. And then once he realized that obviously he could not do all that, he, I don't want to say sold out, but he, whatever was with that script, he gutted it. Because, okay, you got Jason on a boat, which, okay, is different from a campsite, but a boat, there's only so many ways you can shoot a boat interesting because it's a fucking boat. The backdrop and the rooms and the corridor, there's only so many ways you can shoot inside of a fucking boat. It's not the most impressive decor for any film. It's very tough to make that interesting. And I didn't like that Jason was a goober, that anytime he went, a bunch of snot came by. I don't know why his mask is piss yellow. Because it's not even his original mask. It's a mask that some other Yahoo, one of his first victims, brought with him. Which is ironic. Not only did he bring a hockey mask that kind of looks like Jason's mask, but it's piss yellow for some reason. But it also has the same axe mark that Jason had in Part 3. And then the fact that, you know, this school is going to go to New York when technically, if Camp Crystal Lake, if it isn't that in New Jersey or something, so wouldn't it be just a quick bus trip, joyride to New York? Do you really need a cruise ship or whatever? Again, isn't, like, where the fuck does it take place? I thought it was New Jersey. So why are they taking a fucking cruise ship? First, it's a lake, so how the fuck do they get to an ocean? And why the fuck are they going over there? Just take a fucking bus trip. You take a joyride in a car, or take you a few hours, maybe. I don't know why. And the cast, the lead actors, Jensen Daggett, who gives a fuck about Jensen Daggett? And then they try to rip off Nightmare on Elm Street because they give her these visions and daydream nightmares. Because Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4 beat the shit out of them in 1988. Because that made almost 50, while Friday the 13th Part 7 made, a little bit of money, but not almost $50 million. So we need to steal from that fucking movie. We need to steal this shit. And why is there toxic waste every night at midnight in New York? And why, when Jason gets it, he turns to Clayface and then turns to a regular boy and has hair? What was that? Fucking chia pet? You put toxic waste, your head becomes a chia pet? Wow, Jason had hair. That's funny. I always thought he was bald. All the other times we've seen Jason as a kid, he's bald. I guess he had hair and he had a normal face the whole time, apparently. Because apparently the people who made this didn't see the first fucking movie. Him knocking the guy's head off is cool. The 30 seconds he's in New York was kind of cool. I like the Darkest Side of the Night song, but I just remember that movie. You want to see that done, in my opinion, better? Maniac Cop 2 is what that film should have been. Jason T. Manhattan should have been Maniac Cop 2. When Cordell goes to the police station and he's killing everybody and throwing cops and they're going through 3, 4, 5, 7 windows. That should have been Jason fucking Voorhees, and those were low budget. In fact, I think Maniac Cop 2 was cheaper, and it came out a year later, than this fucking movie. But that's because you had William Lustig, who knew what the fuck he was doing more than Rob whatever the fuck his name is. Which I don't even know if he did anything after this. Also in 89, you had Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3, The Dream Child, which was definitely rushed and could have and should have been better. Instead of having a fucking... Okay, you bring back Lisa Wilcox as Alice, and I'm glad you didn't kill her off, but then you... I actually like the idea of Freddy going into her baby's dreams. Like, she has an unborn baby, and unborn baby is in a perpetual sleep. So you're in a perpetual sleep. Freddy, if you use that back door, just like he used Alice to get to other people's dreams, he could use this baby, who maybe has the same power as Alice, because, you know, it's her blood. I could go anywhere. I could do anything. But that movie felt like it wanted to be two things at the same time. It wanted to be a dark and gritty movie based on the look, the cinematography. But then Freddy is like trying to be more funny and goofy than the other ones. And I love Robert Englund, but I think it is his weakest performance as Freddy. Whether because he was being pulled around too many things. He had the Freddy's Nightmares TV show was around this time. I don't remember specifically when. He had that Phantom of the Opera movie he did. He directed a movie, 976 Evil. So that, I mean, that was all around this time. And the makeup, like, they lit it too brightly, so it looks more rubber and more fake. And Robert's performance is like, it's a boy. Like, they give him really lame lines. It's a boy. I'm Super Freddy. So what the fuck? And granted, a lot of Elm Street films don't have a ton of death scenes. I mean, the first film has, what, maybe Tina, Rod in the jail cell, Johnny Depp, and maybe if you count the mom. So it's not like a wall-to-wall body count, but didn't seem like much in part 5. The motorcycles bit was cool, but okay, the comic book, he's turned a piece of paper, the girl gets stuffed, and I think the makeup effects just look goofy. And some of it was cut out, which apparently in that new Friday, Elm Street said it's the uncut version, but I don't care. It is part 5. And then, like, who they cast as the kid, I'm not sure if I was big on his performance. And also, you have Freddy defeated by being puked on. The kid puked Freddy to death. Like, did you really have no other ideas? And then I'm glad they don't kill off Alice. Lisa Wilcox is my favorite character in the whole franchise, but they give her nothing to do. She's such a strong, formidable foe for Freddy, and here, she's just a chump. She doesn't do anything. It has to wait for a fucking kid to puke on a Freddy. I mean, this is a girl that was doing the, you know, the character, martial arts, and, you know, all this other stuff. What the fuck? So it seemed like they wanted to touch on issues like abortion and stuff, but the script should have had time to get into the groove of it all. So it should not have been rushed. Take time to breathe and figure out either a different idea or a better flourish this idea. Give Alice more stuff to do. Have maybe 2 more interesting death scenes. Have a better death for Freddy than being puked on. And then Halloween 5, of course, rushed because Halloween 4 was a nice hit. So, boom, 89, Halloween 5. And Halloween 5, I've talked about many times before, but it's like, okay, part 4, you have an interesting idea. Michael Myers is supposedly dead. Now Danielle Harris is killed, seemingly killed, just like Michael Myers did in the first movie. Okay, that's interesting now. History has changed, and what can we do? And are we able... That seemed like what they tried to do in Halloween Ends and failed. So a much, much better version of Halloween Ends should have been what Halloween 5 was. Like some way that Donald Pleasant's Dr. Loomis could save this girl's soul. Like if you want to make it where, okay, she didn't kill, she wounded, which they did in Halloween 5. Oh, she's, I forget the character's name. You want me to dig your mother? When Daniel Harris wakes up and can't talk. I guess that's to make the audience know that the mom is alive. Like, you could do it that way. People would not like this idea, but I don't know, I think they like The Exorcist 3. But Dr. Loomis is the George C. Scott role. But then it become a different movie, and some people go, well, that's not a Halloween film. But at the same time, I like Halloween 3, which has nothing to do with Halloween other than the title. And Michael Myers is on TV because they're showing Halloween. But I just think that with the story we got, actually following through on the ending of Halloween 4 just sounds like the better story to me. And don't kill off the Rachel character. That was a dumb mistake. That was a dumb move. Even, I think Mustafa Akkad, I think even he admitted that that was a mistake. And also she died such a stupid way and early on. And I think, well, they died early on because that way you don't know who's going to die next. I'm like, who gives a fuck? You're not going to kill off Daniel Harris. You don't recast her and make her an adult, and then you don't kill the character off. And you're not going to, Loomis technically died at the end because he falls to the ground, his eyes are open like he's dead, but then forget about that because he's back in Halloween 6. Well, we technically didn't say he was dead, so there you go. You just inferred it. But Halloween 5, just every mistake in that film, from why do the cops have clown noises when they appear? The characters are fucking garbage, especially Tina. Annoying, obnoxious, and as irritating as dragging my fucking balls against broken glass while being driven by a fucking car who somehow got a corn cup up my ass and hooked to my fucking prostate. And I'm driving through all the broken glass, and everyone's going up my keister and up my fucking tank. Not a happy experience. Does it sound like it? No. Just I watched this fucking Halloween 5 movie. Was a good experience. Never was. I hated it back then. I hate it now. My first channel, one of the first big rants I did was this fucking movie. And yeah, I wish I had that rant. It is what it is. Just once in a while I have people tell me, hey, I remember that rant. I'm like, yeah, so do I. That was where I was much more loud. But you gotta understand, I've seen so many bad films. I wouldn't say I get desensitized to it. It's just walk in the park. But yeah, Elm Street 5, Halloween 5, sorry. Why Daniel Harris is a good actor in part 4, so let's make her mute. Let's give her a kid, or let's have her friend be another kid who stutters. Dr. Loomis, they make him more into a dick. The sheriff, who seemed like a cool guy in Halloween 4, he does absolutely nothing. Which is funny, there's a piece of marketing where he's like, I'm gonna go get Michael Myers. No, you're not, because you're barely in the fucking film. You disappear. Why is Michael Myers in jail at the end with his mask on? Why did they let him keep his mask? Who the fuck was the man in black? Not talking about Halloween 6. I'm talking about in the making of Halloween 5. They did not know who that would be. They would go, we set it up and we'll give it to the people that make the next one. You figure it out. Oh, and maybe Michael Myers' twin brother, or maybe this and that. Maybe it's fucking Santa Claus or the Tooth Fairy. Maybe it was Dwayne The Rock Johnson from the fucking Tooth Fairy. Maybe it was Corey. Who the fuck is Corey? Maybe it was Corey. Went back in time. Because he has one more butt sex with fucking Michael Myers. Fuck Corey Cunningham. Stupid fucking character. Anyway. Other films I thought of. The Karate Part 3. You just say, well, how was that rushed? Because the second one was 86 and I think that also was 89, Karate Part 3. 89 was a horrible year for sequels. But Karate Part 3, like, how the fuck? Like, Part 2 is my favorite. How do you go to, okay, we're going to get rid of a love interest again? Because you did the first time when you did the second film and you didn't have Elizabeth Shue. But now you do it another time? Why? There was no reason for it. Then you put Ralph Macchio with a girl that they can't do anything with because of the huge age difference. So it goes nowhere. Then Daniel forgets every fucking thing he learned in the first two movies. He fought for respect in the first one. He fought for his life and this girl's life in the second film. Now we go back to the fucking first film now. He's going to a tournament, only he doesn't have to fight the whole tournament. He gets to the head of the line, which I don't know if that's how yearly tournaments go. That if you won the last one, you just go to the head of the line. I didn't know that's how it works, but apparently it does. Then you have a villain who beats Daniel's ass. Then I beat you, then I take away the point, and I could beat you 18 fucking times. So fucking stupid. I don't buy Rob Macho getting pissed at Pat Morita's character, Mr. Miyagi, and ready to join the dark side. And Thomas Ian Griffith, I like him in films like Excessive Force. I know he was back on Cobra Kai, but I hated his character in Karate Part. He was goofy and stupid and silly and over the top and cartoonish. The music sucked. Karate Part 3 fucking sucks. Even Rob Macchio said the film fucking sucked, and I agree with him. Mortal Kombat Annihilation was another sequel I thought of, because the first one was 95. This was, 97? They definitely rushed it. I don't know if this is true, but I heard a story that they were not finished with the special effects. So they had a test screening, and they said the test screening went very well. So we're going to release it at this date, but we haven't finished it. Oh, it's fine. They loved it in the test screening, so don't worry about it. We don't have to spend more money on this. And that's why the effects look like shit. I don't know if that's true, but I swear to God I remember hearing that story. I'm like, well, that fucking figures. But I don't care if it was in the video game. Killing Johnny Cage off was a stupid idea. No wonder Lyndon Ashby did not do the fucking film. I would not have done it either. He made the right decision. So some other guy playing Johnny Cage didn't just kill him. Stupid. I like James Remar, but he was not a good replacement for Christopher Lambert. Liu Kang won the tournament, but then in the sequel he gets his ass kicked. I wonder what I forget what. I know a guy who's a huge Liu Kang fan, and the reason I'm hesitating is that I'm trying to remember what he said about he. If you're watching, dude, tell me how you felt about Liu Kang and Mortal Kombat Annihilation, because I would have think you would have been fucking pissed off, because he just gets his ass kicked the whole fucking time. I was going to say his real name because he's on one of my friends on Facebook, but he may not want his real name out there. Some don't, so I just be cautious. But he's a big Liu Kang fan and Mortal Kombat fan, and I would think, man, he would be pissed at what they did to Liu Kang in that film. And it is just he just gets his ass kicked, becomes a bitch. Everybody tits his ass. And they try to do too much, throwing so many characters, but then the characters are in there for 10 seconds. Oh, there's the other Sub-Zero. Then he disappears, and then you never see him again. I like the guy who plays Jax. I like that. Oh, I can't forgot their fucking names. Sector, like the robot ones. There's like one's yellow and one. I can't believe I forgot their damn names because I sucked ass in Mortal Kombat games. But I like that they were in it. I like the guy who played Jax. I like the soundtrack. Pretty much it. The effects needed time. They needed to make that shit look better. Brian Thompson was a bad choice. I liked him in Cobra, but here he was goofy and silly and over the top and ham-fisted and not, to me, not in a fun way. And it really didn't. It had, believe it or not, the first Mortal Kombat I actually think is a good story. Like based on a fighting game, they follow the game. I think they had a good story with good characters. I like Sonya Blade in that movie. I like Johnny Cage. Lyndon Ashby stole the show. I think Robin Shaw does good as Liu Kang. Christopher Lambert, his little bits of dialogue. The fate of millions are upon you. Sorry. Like they have characters with good personalities. The only guy to say that was close to that was the guy who played Jax. The others, not so much, because they really. The first film worked because you had the fights, you had the action scenes, and the soundtrack, but there was more time and I think more focus on the characters and the personality of dialogue compared with the second film, where it was just let's rush to the next set piece, let's rush to the next environment. Oh, there's the fucking wolf guy. Night Wolf. Oh, there's Night Wolf. Oh no, there's this girl, and then she beats the shit. They both pretty much beat the shit out of Liu Kang. Oh, there's the other Sub-Zero, and are you No, that was my brother, and then he disappears, and we're introduced these things, and then you never see him again. It's like trying to throw a bunch of Easter eggs at you. I'm like, okay, maybe if you're a diehard fan, maybe you can enjoy that for a bit, but then. It was more of an empty shell. It was more of an empty feeling for the whole movie. And it's like, let's add more CGI. No, that's not the right decision. Animality. No, honestly, animality, that should never be. Unless it's an animated film, you should never have an animality thing in a fucking live action Mortal Kombat. People may disagree with that, but no. It's something that works for a video game, perhaps could work for a cartoon, animated film, does not work for live action. It raises too many questions, it's not going to look the greatest. I mean, what's that? Babality, turning people into fucking babies. Also have friendship. You have some guy, toasty, and then walk away, just like Don't Be a Menace to South Central while drinking your juice in the hood, where Teenan's like, message, and walks away. This would be toasty and then walk away. Like, no, I mean, there's gotta be a moment you have to stop and think about what you're doing. Hold it. Mortal Kombat Annihilation needed more time to look at this stuff. Same with Karate Kid 3, Elm Street 5, Halloween 5, Friday the 13th Part 8. These are some sequels. I could say Alien 3, but hell, Alien 3, I've talked about umpteenth time. And I mean, you could go like Clerks 3. Man, the list could be endless on that. I mean, there's a lot of bad sequels. The Predator, Terminator Dark Fate, Terminator Genesis. And on a side note, he mentioned this topic about the Expendables, and hey, do you think they should have made it in the 90s? Yes. But it would never do it because no one would be on the same page because the egos were much bigger in the 90s. Who's going to be the star? Who's going to have the top billing? Who's going to be the villain? I don't want to be the villain because I don't want to be the guy that gets killed. I don't want to be the guy that gets beaten because I'll somehow look weaker. It's like in wrestling. No, I don't want to lose. Well, I mean, that doesn't reflect the real world. But the egos, who's going to get paid more? Who's going to have more action? Who's going to have more time? Who's going to have more this and that? So, this would never happen in the 90s. It had to happen when time has gone by and some of them have realized they're in the twilight years, and then you have younger people that just want to enjoy the ride and have fun and have a good old time and join the group and have like a little bit of vacation, like Wesley Snipes and Expendables 3 and such. But yes, if you could get all your ducks in a row, the Expendables should have happened in like the late 90s. Either 99, 2000, something like that. When some of these guys were doing more direct-to-video, and it's like, you know what, let's get together, and we're still in pretty decent shape, and let's really knock it out of the park. Our way to end the 90s, the 80s and 90s, blaze of glory, go all out, get a John Woo or John McTiernan or someone like that to direct it. I would say at that time, the best bit would be like Stallone versus Arnold, because that's the thing people always wanted to see. But then you have to have, will they agree on it? Would they ever agree on it? Like, okay, the pie in the sky for the Expendables, if it was, again, this is barring checking everybody's ego at the door, them not worrying about pay, or which so impossible. But this is the impossible dream I'm talking about. So bear with me. If it's viewing the impossible and what I would like the film to be, without all the other bullshit, it'd be Stallone, Jean-Claude Van Damme, Jackie Chan, Chuck Norris, and you got like one more. Maybe a Jeff Speakman, maybe a Wesley Snipes, maybe both. But make you 5 or 6 guys, and then have it be against Arnold, Steven Seagal, and then God, I'm trying to think of them. Maybe that could be, Wesley Snipes as a villain, if you want to go that route. And you could pepper a lot of other guys in there. Or if you think it's too many good guys. I mean, I haven't really thought about it. But yeah. I just see like Stallone, Van Damme, and Jackie Chan at the very least being the main 3. Against at least Arnold, Seagal, Jet Li, Bruce Willis, or you have Bruce Willis the same type of role he did in the first Expendables film. And if you want to throw in some 90s direct-to-video stars like Mark Dacascos, Jeff Wincott, Gary Daniels, like in the first film, you go ahead and do that as well. I mean, okay, if I'm being super serious about it, I would say Stallone, Van Damme, Jackie Chan. I would throw Roddy Piper on there. And maybe like a Jeff Speakman. Just even at that point, I think Chuck Norris would be too old. Have Chuck Norris be like the Mickey Rourke character. And he's like away from the mission, and then like Expendables 2, he kind of comes in later, and he's a guy that, you know, is the secret weapon surprise. And then you have Arnold, Jet Li, Steven Seagal. You throw in, you know, Gary Daniels, Mark Dacascos, Wesley Snipes, some of these other guys in there. Yeah, it'd be cool if Michael Biehn, but again, if Michael Biehn said yes, that'd be cool. If he was like if maybe he was like the Bruce Willis type of role. That's the thing, though, is that at that time, with so many people being in the better body shape, better health, able to move, able to do more things with their body, more things, more agility, being younger, there'd just be a lot more possibilities. Anything I said, you could miss and match and however you see fit, but there'd be a lot more opportunities for these guys to be able to do more things. Just even by 2010, their bodies were getting older and they're getting a little bit broken down, and they couldn't do as much. So, you know, Bruce Willis is just the advisor. Arnold is in like one scene. Stallone broke his fucking neck during it in the fight with Stone Cold Steve Austin. Dolph Lundgren and Jet Li did what they could. I still like the first Expendables, but yeah, in the night it would have been a whole different ball game, because it would have been less CGI. It'd be actual blood squibs, actual. It wouldn't be as much CGI as you would see in all the Expendables films, even the first one. So, but you know, it is what it is. You know, there's nothing we can do about it. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of sequels that either they should have waited, or hell, I mean, you could go into sequels that never should have been made, like Speed 2 Cruise Control never needed to be made. Never needed a Speed 2 Cruise Control. You never needed sequels to I Know What You Did Last Summer. Just have it be one and done. There's a lot of movies like that just one and done material. You don't need any more. So... anyway, I talked for some minutes, so that's a couple stuff. Either way, thanks for watching, take care, and we will see you in the next video. Bye-bye for now.